Welcome to Yoga with Kaila. Let's relax and move our body with our breath. If you are loving these videos, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Hey guys, welcome to Yoga for Depression. So today we're really going to focus on slow, controlled motions and really opening through that front side of our body, creating those feel-good endorphins and helping our body feel a little bit better and connect with ourselves. So today we're going to start on our knees in our hero pose, shoulders rolled back and down, heart center is lifted. We're just going to start here taking some deep breaths. Now, if you're on your toes and this is uncomfortable for you, you could use a yoga block and sit it down behind you, dropping those feet down. This could be an option. You could also sit just flat on your feet here. So completely up to you, starting in that hero pose, chest lifted, and we're just going to take some breaths. So bringing that awareness into our body, maybe softening our gaze or closing our eyes, whatever feels comfortable to us here today. Taking those nice deep inhales and exhales. So we're doing something we call 3-part breath. And we're feeling our chest, our ribs, our belly fill, and then we're exhaling our belly, our ribs, our chest. Just really trying to bring that awareness into our breath. And paying attention to the motion of our breath. We're not trying to control it. We're just paying attention to the journey, the road that it travels on. So noticing if with your breath, when you inhale, do your shoulders rise up towards your ears? Is there a way that you can soften those shoulders down and back and breathe a little bit more laterally into the sides of your ribs versus up into that upper respiratory tract? So trying to breathe a little deeper, breathing a little wider here. So we're going to begin to bring some motion to our breath. So from that hero pose position, we're going to inhale forward, coming into that kneeling plank position. Exhale, sinking our hips back, pulling those hands back. Inhale, lifting up high towards the sky. Exhaling, coming back down. Inhaling forward into our kneeling plank. Exhale, pull those hands back. Inhale, lifting to rise. Exhale, down, back to that hero pose. Inhaling forward. Exhale, so controlling that breath. We're moving with that breath. Allowing that breath to guide us as fast or as slow as feels good in our bodies. Our bodies are strong. And we are so grateful for the opportunity to be here today, to be on our mat, to move in the motion that we get to move in. Listening to our body. We are using that breath, but we're practicing just listening to our body, the ability to do whatever it is that our body needs us to do here today. We're not judging, we're just simply being kind and noticing. Let's do one more. And exhale back into that hero pose. Rolling those shoulders down away from your ears. Let's do one more big breath with a big sigh. Inhale. Exhale, big sigh. Oh, one more. That just felt so good. Inhale. Exhale, big sigh. Let's go ahead and inhale our left arm up high towards the sky, creating that lateral flexion here. Breathing into that left side body. So seeing, can I breathe into those left ribs? Can I send those left ribs a little bit more laterally? Lifting up like you've got a bunch of balloons in your hands. You're feeling that extension as you lift up high towards the sky. Exhale, replace that left hand down. Inhale, right side lateral flexion. Lifting up high like we got that bunch of balloons. Breathing into that right side body here. Again, noticing, do my shoulders rise when I breathe? Can I breathe a little deeper, a little lower? And exhale, let it go. Good. So now we're going to inhale onto all fours. So coming onto our all fours, our shoulders are stacked underneath or with our hands underneath. Our knees are stacked with our hips over top. So from that all fours position, we're going to come into our cat-cow. So we're going to inhale, arching our back, lifting through heart center into that cow. And as we exhale, we round through that belly, pressing down through our hips, pulling those hips in nice and tight. Inhale, sinking down, rolling those shoulder blades back and down, lifting through heart center. Exhale, roll. So we're using your own breath. So I'm just going to allow you to flow through your cat and cow, using your own breath here, being aware of what it is that your body needs and what your body is looking for. Maybe it feels better to come into that perched position, right onto our fingertips. So into that perched cow or the perched cat. Let's do 2 more. Good. Coming back to that neutral spine. Give your tail a little wag. Good. All right, we're going to curl our toes under, pressing up into our downward facing dog. Just try and see if you can find that lateral motion in your down dog. Can you wag that tail up here now? Finding that lateral motion. Breathing. Now, if down dog is a little too much for us today, we could come into puppy, right? Arms extended. We're just shortening that lever so we're not up on our toes, we're on our knees. We can still wag our tail here in puppy. So your choice, down dog or puppy. Okay, let's go ahead. Inhaling our right leg up high towards the sky. Let's step that right leg through. We're going to plant our back foot, stepping it in slightly, walking our hands up that front leg. We'll find warrior one, nice and tall. So from the front, our warrior one looks like this. So feet are wide, standing nice and tall, 2 hips in one line, planted nice and tall in our warrior one. And now we're going to go ahead and find that chest expansion. Opening through those shoulders, finding that nice, beautiful expansion here. Tall, finding our breath. Noticing how this feels. Does it cause anxiety to creep in? If it does, come back to a position that feels a little bit more comfortable to you. Again, this is listening to our bodies and practicing that kindness for ourselves. We deserve it. Feeling tall, grounded, rooted through our feet, down into the earth. Let's go ahead and extend through that front leg, extending it nice and long, hinging from our hips, we come down, finding our pyramid posture here. So you could choose to ground your hands onto the ground. You could choose to ground them onto your thigh, onto a shin, maybe onto some yoga blocks. We're tucking that forehead down towards our knee. And still looking for that chest expansion here. You could go around if you're looking for a little balance and some chest expansion and loop those hands behind you, lifting up. So this is an option. Breathing. Releasing those hands back and down. Planting our hands, bending through our knees. Let's step that right foot back, finding that downward facing dog. Pedal it out or shake that tail again. Your choice. Now what we do to one side, we must do to the other. Let's lift that left leg up high and step it on through, finding that lunge. Step that back foot in slightly. We walk our hands up that front leg, bending through the front knee, finding warrior one now on the other side. Same thing as we just did. Okay, we've got that warrior one. Let's inhale, finding that chest expansion again here. Beautiful. Really finding that chest expansion, holding, lifting. Breathing, allowing those shoulders to melt down away from our ears, opening through our heart center, breathing into that heart space. Okay, let's go ahead and let's extend nice and long through that front leg, extending nice and long, rounding forward. We come down into that pyramid posture. Now this time again, planting our hands wherever they fall. So ground, shins, thighs, wherever they fall. And we're finding that grounded position before we move on. So there's no judgment here. We go and we listen to our body. We're meeting ourselves where we're at today. Maybe yesterday you could touch your toes and today we can't. That's okay. We're meeting ourselves where we're at today. So from that pyramid posture, if you want a little bit more of a challenge, especially a challenge with balance, we can go around to reach those hands behind, lift them up around behind, finding that chest expansion once again in that pyramid posture. Wonderful. Slowly, slowly release those hands down. Taking a nice deep bend through those knees, stepping it on back, finding that down dog. Let's pedal it out and let's wag that tail. Wag the tail. Wonderful. Okay, so this time we're going to take our right leg. We're going to put it out behind us, pointing those toes. And I just want you to drag it slowly, slowly. Drag, 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 drag. Bend that knee. Now keep dragging it really, really slowly. In life, we move so quickly. I want you to move slow, 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 and plant it down forward. Wonderful. Inhale, arms up, nice and tall. Let's rotate that back foot open, finding our warrior two. So I'm going to turn and face the mirror so you can see me. There we go. Okay. So we're planted in that warrior two. We've rotated that back foot. We're strong. We're grounded. We're going to take those shoulders up high towards our ears and melt them back into our spine. Let's do that again. High towards the ears. Melt them into our spine. So looking for that nice, beautiful deep bend through those hips, our bend through our knees, opening through that knee, grounded. Wonderful. Inhale that front arm up high towards the sky, finding that reverse warrior here. Breathing into that right side body. So we're really trying to focus on opening through that right side body. Can you lift those lungs out nice and wide? One more deep breath here. Beautiful. Extending through that front leg. And let's cartwheel those hands down to the floor. Walk them along the long edge of our mat. Finding both toes come to center. Let's inhale, deep bend through the knees. Inhale up into our five-pointed star. Exhale, sinking down into our prayer squat. Let's inhale. Five-pointed star. Exhale down into prayer squat. Inhale, rise like a flower blooming in spring. Exhale, sinking back down like you're closing those flower petals at nighttime. Inhale, rise towards the sunshine, feeling the light of the sun coming down onto your body. Releasing that tension. Exhale, down, curling. Maybe you round forward a little bit, finding that safety position. Inhale, blooming like a flower. Exhale, curling like the flowers do at nighttime. One more. Exhale, prayer squat. Hands come down to that mat. We rise those sit bones high towards the sky, coming into that forward fold position. Just hanging out in our forward fold for a moment. Let's walk those hands back around that right leg, back around that front leg. Step that right leg back. We'll find that down dog or puppy position. Maybe we wag our tail here. Good. Let's lift that left leg up. We're going to drop those toes down and we're going to drag them slowly, slowly, slowly. Finding that slow movement in life, right? That ability to just take some time to do something, right? Teaching ourselves to do hard things, that we're capable of doing these hard things. When we get to that point of tension, pop that foot forward. Inhale, lifting the body up nice and tall. Exhale, dropping that heel down, opening it up, warrior two. So I'll turn and face you again so you can see me. Finding that nice, beautiful, strong warrior two. Deep bend through the knees. Hips are sinking. Chest is tall. Strong, grounded, peaceful warrior. Bring those shoulders up towards your ears. Melt them into our spine. Up towards our ears. Melt into our spine. Taking a nice deep inhale here. Exhale, front arms or our left arm up high towards the sky, finding that reverse warrior. Breathing into that left side body. Feeling strong and planted into the earth, down through all four corners of our feet. As we lift through that left side body, we are strong. We are grounded. And we are capable. Right? Our bodies are so capable, right? You can do yoga from any position. You can do this seated in a chair. If you can breathe, you can do yoga, and you are wonderful and so, so worth it. Inhaling one more time. Exhale, straightening that front leg, cartwheeling those arms down to our mats. Walking them along that long edge of the mat, turning both toes forward, taking a nice deep bend through our knees. Let's inhale up into that five-pointed star. Again, imagine you're a beautiful flower blooming. Exhale down into that prayer squat. Using that breath to guide you with your inhales and your exhales. Every time you lift, we extend. One more. Let's come down into that prayer squat. So we're going to drop our hands down in that prayer squat and we're going to pull all of the energy up from the earth, that grounding energy, feeling it coming up through our body, breathing it up all the way out to the top of our head. And from here, let's helix it, bringing it down back into the earth. Let's do two more. Inhale, pull that grounding energy back up into our body, feeling our body rooted down into the earth. Reaching it up nice and high, back up to that sunshine, and pull that sunshine back down, helix it down into our body. One more. Inhale, pulling, grounding, rooting into the earth, reaching up nice and high to that sunshine state. And we're going to exhale, helix that sunshine down through our body. Feel that energy change, planting our hands down, lifting our sit bones nice and high, finding that forward fold. Take the opportunity here to breathe. See, just notice, have you shifted your energy a little bit within your body? Were you able to find that grounding sensation, that sensation of the light coming down from the earth, or up from the earth and down from the sun? Let's walk those hands back around that left leg, that front leg, taking a nice deep bend through our knees. Let's step that left leg back, finding that down dog or puppy, wagging our tail one more time. Let's drop those knees down, pressing it back into that child's pose. So we want to ground down in our child's pose. So you can ground forehead to mat. You could ground wrists. You could ground a block underneath your forehead, listening to our bodies. So finding that position that feels good. Maybe you prefer a wide knees child's pose, right? Allowing that belly space to breathe. Breathing, allowing our heart rate to recover. That was a lot of movement, especially standing movement, and you should be so proud of yourself for making it all the way through that. Let's coming back up, planting through our hands. Let's bring those knees back together if you had taken them nice and wide. We're going to come back into our camel posture here. So much like our hero pose that we started in, we're going to have our toes planted, or you're seated on a block, or you can have your foot flat. In this one, we're just going to practice lifting through heart center. So we're going to take our thumbs, stick them into our armpits, or relatively close to our armpits, inhaling our elbows up and forward, lifting through heart center. And all we're finding is that nice gentle back bend. So you could come forward on your knees and find your camel here, lifting through heart center. Or maybe you're looking for a little bit of a gentler back bend, and maybe you're just seated in that hero pose, lifting through heart center here. Again, it's just that gentle position to find that nice back bend. We're just breathing into that front side of the body, right? Finding that heart center or your solar plexus center, right? And that right where your rib cage meets here, and breathing into that space of power, space of guidance, that internal light within you, that fire inside of you. If you start to feel overwhelmed, please feel free to go back into child's pose. Just taking a couple more breaths here. Sinking those hips down and back, reaching those hands down, finding that child's pose one more time. Let's shift our hips off to one side, and we'll bring our legs around front, finding our staff pose. Sitting up nice and tall, hands by our sides. So we're not pressing down into the mat. Our hands are just simply by the sides. We're using that core strength to lift up through heart center, shoulders rolled back and down. We're just gonna walk those hands forward, coming into our seated forward fold. So our feet are flexed, our toes are coming back towards our face. We're in that seated forward fold position. We're going to walk our hands back, take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, walk your hands forward. Using that sinking breath. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Oh, just because I love that so much. Let's do it one more time. Inhale, coming back up. Last one. Exhale, down and forward. Using that sinking breath, coming down and forward into that forward fold. And allow that forehead to drop down towards your knees and your body to just succumb to this position. Noticing the sensations that you have within your body. Noticing any tension and tightness, and bringing that breath and awareness to that place of tension, that place of tightness. Breathing into that space and seeing if you can find a little bit more relaxation. Can you find a little bit more space? Is there the ability to just 1 ounce of just letting go within that space? Bringing that sensation and awareness to our breath. Staying present here on our mats. Wonderful. Let's walk our hands back in, bending through that knee, taking a nice, beautiful, deep bend here. Let's roll down onto our mats. We're going to plant down through our feet, shoulders rolling down. We're going to keep our shoulders planted onto our mats. Our feet are in close enough that we can't touch them, but if I was to wiggle side to side, I might be able to almost touch my heels, okay? So you just don't want them out too far. We're planted through those heels. Let's take a nice deep inhale, lifting those hips up off our mat, finding our bridge pose here. So lift it onto the shoulders, we're holding in bridge. And let's breathe here. Let's do a couple rounds of breath. Now, if you'd like to go into more of a chest expansion, you could roll those shoulders under, clasping your hands and pressing down into the mat. Again, this is an option. This is your yoga practice. You get to choose what you do or don't do. Let's find that breath. If your hands aren't underneath, maybe we bring our hands to our belly and we try. And breathe into our hands. Can you find that space? Or maybe you breathe into the outsides of your ribs. Can you find breath? Giving your body a target, something to focus on, something to do, right? And if your hands are behind us, we'll unravel one arm at a time. Let's slowly, one vertebrae at a time, lower, 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 down. All right. Our feet are planted on the mats. Our hands are going to come out side to side. We're going to allow those knees to rock. So it's option to rock with your knees or not. It's completely up to you. So we're going to come into some embracing flow with our breath. So as we inhale, our knees drop open, our arms fall wide. And as we exhale, we crisscross one arm over the next. Give yourself a nice hug. Inhaling, open. Exhale, crisscross the other arm on top this time. Inhale. Exhale, give yourself that nice tight squeeze. So our body doesn't know the difference between giving ourselves hugs or somebody else hugging us. So these nice, beautiful hugs allow us to get those feel-good endorphins that we get from a hug. This is one more. Hug yourself nice and tight. Good. 1, 2, 3, and slowly release. Maybe we follow those knees nice and wide, finding that supine butterfly or that butterfly position face up. Let's go ahead and find our breath. Now, if butterfly is uncomfortable for you, you could choose to stack some yoga blocks underneath your knees to find a supported butterfly. Maybe that feels a little better, or maybe use pillows. If you don't like butterfly, you could just take your legs out long, or you could come into that bent knee position. The idea here is we're going to find that breath a little bit more before we finish our practice. So let's find that breath. So bringing our palms of our hands to our lower ribs, our fingers are going to face down towards our hips. We're going to find that lateral breath. So we're going to try and breathe into the palms of our hands. And noticing those points of tension. Do you notice your shoulders rise, right? Do your shoulders come up towards your ears? Can you breathe a little deeper down, deep down, pulling that belly breath deep down into that lower abdomen, massaging out that lower abdomen without expanding wide through that belly. So expanding laterally through the belly. And as we exhale, I want you to imagine that tailbone sinks a little deeper into the earth. It grounds a little bit more, and with every exhale, we sink our roots down into the earth. So inhales, drawing in that beautiful energy from the sun, and as we exhale, our roots grow a little deeper. We become more connected with the earth. Inhale. Exhale, rooting down into the earth, drawing that belly towards our spine, pulling the muscles between our hip bones nice and tight. One more. Exhale. Bringing those knees back up to center, pulling those knees in towards that chest. Maybe if it feels good, tucking that forehead in, give yourself that nice tight embrace squeeze. If it doesn't feel good, you could still hug those knees in. Maybe we rock and roll out those hips a little. Let's send that left leg out nice and long. Taking our left hand, we bring it onto our right knee, and we're just going to pull that knee across our body, finding our supine spinal twist here. Breathing into that right side body. Wringing out our spine, right? Our spine is like a nice, beautiful cord of energy. So just allowing it to wring out any negative emotions that we might feel. Allowing ourselves to ground down. And inhale back through center. Let's bring that left knee back in to meet the right knee. Give yourself one more hug. Exhale, right leg out. Our right hand comes onto our left knee. We pull that left knee across our body, left hand out to the side. We get that nice, beautiful spinal twist. Right? That yin and that yang, that position where we get to wring out that spine on both sides and feeling these nice, beautiful stretches. And inhaling back through center, bringing your right knee in to meet your left. Let's curl up nice and tight. And exhale, unraveling that head. We're going to send those heels up high, coming into our legs up a wall. Now, if you have high blood pressure, I would maybe recommend not having our legs up the wall just because of how it affects our blood pressure. But if you don't have high blood pressure or you feel a little bit comfortable with this, that's okay. We're going to go into legs up a wall. So if you had an actual wall nearby, you could bring your legs and allow them to actually rest on the wall. If you don't have a wall, you're just going to hold your legs using that core strength. And we're going to finish our practice here in our legs up a wall. And just bringing that awareness back to our breath, softening our gaze. Maybe that means closing our eyes to some of us. Bringing that awareness to the breath and noticing the path it travels in our body. Again, we're not changing it, we're just observing it and observing how with each breath we can allow ourselves to relax, allow ourselves to connect with the earth, allowing those shoulders to relax down away from our ears. And you're going to stay here as long as you need to. Allowing your body to receive the benefits from your yoga practice here today. So go ahead, pause the video if you need a little longer. Take as much time as you need. And when you feel like you've had enough, you'll go ahead and allow those legs to come down. We'll roll onto one side, taking as much time as you need here in our fetal posture. And then we'll come up to an easy seated position near the top of our mat. Thank you so much for joining me here on this journey today. The light in me bows and honors the light in you. Namaste.